Hi, good morning, everybody. Dr. Kathleen Webb here from Greater Hartford Wellness. Welcome to Friday Chats with Kathleen Webb. I am a clinical psychologist in Avon, Connecticut. We provide psychotherapy services for children, families, and adults. And I'm really excited to be giving you these Friday morning chats so that we can all access ways to improve our emotional health. And because really we believe at Greater Hartford Wellness that everybody deserves emotional health. So we're giving Facebook Live a chance here. We've been doing these Zoom meetings, but we figured it might be a good way to reach other people doing this live piece. And so in the post connected to this live stream is a link for a handout that will accompany our topic for today, which is dealing with uncertainty. So I'm not sure there is a more appropriate topic to talk about given what's going on in the world. So today we're going to do a few things. We're going to learn more about what uncertainty is and kind of what it feels like. We're going to put some words to it. We are going to talk about how uncertainty can kind of lead us down two potential paths. One is riddled with fear and anxiety and panic in some ways. And then another path is through growth. And then we're going to be talking about how we can cope with uncertainty. Some kind of do's and don'ts, ways that you can explore what you can do for your own uncertainty. And really, so much of dealing with uncertainty is connecting to the present for ourselves. So as we get started, we're going to begin with a quote about uncertainty. Trust the wait. Embrace the uncertainty. Enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. That is a quote by Mandy Hale. So, all right, before we really start talking about uncertainty, I just want to put a little caveat to this because I know it crosses my mind and it crosses a lot of minds of the people that I talk to, and that is the notion of comparative suffering. All of us are impacted by this pandemic in lots of different ways. Some of us are more gravely impacted, whether it's an issue of our health or, financial strife, or just also too, our lives have all been changed by this. And so comparing someone else's struggle to our own, and that might be worse. It's really not helpful to you. It's not helpful to anybody. It wasn't helpful in high school. It's not going to be helpful now. So I just want to try to dismantle all that, okay? And just think about how we can get through this uncertain time and be most productive, okay? So uncertainty. One of the people I admire and as a mentor to me is Brene Brown. And she talks about uncertainty associated with feeling vulnerable. And so uncertainty does feel vulnerable. It's super uncomfortable. It's just unknown, right? And we don't like to feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel necessarily safe. Another way of looking at that too, though, is we recognize we're alive. We're not numb. We're very much alive, okay? So uncertainty really can drive anxiety and other negative emotions. It can also be a place of innovation, creativity, hope, and exploration. So I want you to start considering getting curious about having uncertainty be an opening for something positive, okay? What I'd like for you to do on your own right now is to pick 4 words that you associate with the word uncertainty. If you want to share them in the comment section, that's great. But just, kind of get those juices flowing with, well, what does that word mean? I'll tell you, it has a lot of new meaning for me in the last month. So when people are thinking about uncertainty, question marks that usually pop up. We want answers. It's unknown, right? And with uncertainty and questions, the kinds of questions we usually ask when there's uncertainty is sometimes there's often not a clear answer to it. Because, we're pretty smart people. If there were some clear answers, we probably would have arrived at them. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And especially during this time with uncertainty, I think many of us lean towards that negative path, right? Fear, doubt, panic. We feel it in our bodies too. For me, it kind of resonates probably in a more irritable kind of way. Others sometimes get really busy and start diving into projects. They try to fix things or control things that they can. But the reality is that right now, there's not a ton that we can do. And so what I am encouraging you to do is, because I'm not going to have answers here either, is we have to kind of get more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. That's it's not an easy message to get, right? It doesn't necessarily make us feel better. But being uncomfortable is something that we can do. We actually can. And there have been many times in your life when you have been uncomfortable. And we can do this now. So are there some words that you can associate right now with that more positive side of uncertainty, that creative piece, that, kind of thinking outside of the box? Like that saying, making lemonade. I've been saying that a lot lately. It's like I think about my kids when they come to me and they say I'm bored. They've got to be uncomfortable with that boredom. But then with a little bit of time and they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs, they end up usually thinking of something pretty darn creative and using their imagination. So some words could be degree of excitement, wonder, wanting to explore. And so that those things require some discomfort and vulnerability because you're not sure what is going to come of it. And it might be a crash and burn, but that's okay. It's okay. It's working through it. It's persevering through that uncertainty. Okay, so how do we cope with this stuff? How do we cope with uncertainty? I want to go through some do's and don'ts of some things that I've been kind of collecting over time the last month of talking to people and also practicing it myself. Some of the don'ts are spending too much time watching the news. Sometimes certain places where we're getting information actually thrive on driving up our anxiety. So being really aware of where those sources are coming from and really taking stock in how our body feels when we are consuming different information. Another don't is losing track of your day by zoning out on whatever fill in the blank is, whatever it is that we're using to numb. Numbing is very common in our society, and it's really important that we're honest with ourselves about the behaviors we engage in that kind of get us tuned out. And so it's okay to escape for a little bit, but when we're losing track of a lot of time and it's it's straying us from what's important to us and what we need to do, it's not such a great thing. Another thing that's not such a good thing about when we're in a negative place and feeling uncertain is isolating ourselves. I know a lot of introverts that kind of in some ways welcome some hunkering down, but it does get old. It does get old even for those introverts. So isolating ourselves and not staying connected to people, it becomes unhelpful. And the other don't is that I would say is really being very mindful about when you're connecting with other people that are very anxious. Anxiety can be pretty contagious. And so if you're recognizing that certain people that you're talking to are very anxious, it kind of gets you worked up and drive you up your anxiety. I suggest considering making some boundaries around that, and maybe either having a talk with them about, changing the subject, or really being mindful about when you're talking to those individuals. All right, so let's talk about some do's. A lot of the do's that that I'm going to be suggesting, and again, this is available to you. There's a handout associated with this talk, is focusing on the present moment. A lot of folks in my field talk about how our body is the wisest part of ourselves. And one of the things that it just always rings true for me as I'm thinking about the importance of being in the present moment is that our brains can be thinking about the past, they can be thinking about the future, and that's, of course, where those questions come up, right? And we get us off track. But our bodies can only be in the present moment. So they are the key to getting present and so when we're present, we can be more grounded. And getting more grounded helps us relax on the uncertainty. It helps bring things to the very present moment so that we can get clear and focus on just right now. Because honestly, we can't do a ton about the future right now, okay? So one of the things that, there's a lot of resources out there that you can do that, is tapping into your 5 bodily senses. So there's a lot of data coming into our bodies all the time, every day. So tapping into our 5 senses to get more present. Sometimes another great strategy is just making a plan for the day. If we're feeling really kind of anxious and uncertain, maybe we just even make a plan for the next hour, so that we can just come down from kind of that worry and uncertainty. Just make a plan for right now. Sometimes connecting with someone, again, that's that opposite of isolating, right? Talking to somebody else, we are social beings, so making connections is really critical to having us deal effectively with this time. Another strategy is practicing gratitude. And so recognizing what we do have and appreciating that is another way to get grounded. There's a chat that you can look up. It's archived on Greater Hartford Wellness. It's all about how to cultivate and grow gratitude within your life. So I'm hoping some of these do's and don'ts have been sort of helpful in starting to think about, well, what can I do about this notion of uncertainty? So I want you to start thinking about for yourself, what could be helpful to me? What kind of fits with my life? Okay. So my last question to pose to you is, given what you're thinking about and seeing, what are some things that you could do to cope with uncertainty? I want you to try to list 3 things. If you want to share in the comments, great. You're welcome to. I think the more ideas we get flowing, the better it is. And again, that's just another example of how we connect and feel like this is our collective experience. Think about that. Mm. And as we're doing this, this is live right now, but it will be recorded and archived. So whether it's the handout that you might find helpful or even just the recording, go ahead and share it with your friends. We're using it now, but share it with your friends. This is all really helpful for all of us. Oh, I love this comment that Ingrid's making right now is watching the spring come alive. I think that's, you know, enjoying nature and taking in all the growth is huge. I do it every morning with my coffee, of course, as I'm sipping my coffee. Um, Others have said, stretching, doing yoga, meditating. Um, it's finding those really small things that we have often overlooked in our world when our lives have been a lot more hectic and busier and running around. I think that's one of the gifts about that we can take advantage of right now. Okay, so I'm really hoping that um, today has been something that has been somewhat helpful and you can sort of get some ideas for yourself. I encourage you to keep commenting and sharing on our Facebook page, Greater Hartford Wellness. Um, Share what we've talked about today with your friends and tune in next week. To next week, we are going to be talking about how to get grounded. And so that really is another sort of offshoot of getting present and feeling present and taking in the right now. If you are a person that is really struggling right now and the typical means in which you kind of take care of your emotional health is just not cutting it, please feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call, Greater Hartford Wellness. Go to our website. We're there to help. We provide amazing mental health services. Our clinicians are fabulous. They're just awesome. And so we're here for you, okay? We're just a phone call away. All right. Have a great week, everybody, and work on that emotional health.